So the basic idea of Optiways is to build a network, a fleet of shared buses, small buses that people will share for commuting within an urban environment. The first block of the business model canvas is the value proposition. So what is the essence of the value proposition that Optiways developed? It's interesting. They work on the idea that there is an intermediary point between public transportation on one side, where you pay a flat fee for accessing a fixed network of routes, and taxis, where you pay a higher price for a totally customized journey. The taxi will take you where you are and will bring you exactly where you want to go. So the first hypothesis that Optiways business is based on is that there is an intermediary point between public transportation and taxi. So the first question is, what is the meaning of that intermediary point? How much cheaper than a taxi does it have to be to make sense for a taxi user? Or how much more expensive than a public transportation journey can it be so it still makes sense for someone used to going through the metro or the bus? An other side question, there might be also additional variables that contribute to creating the value proposition. Maybe safety is an important issue because in such a shared bus, you may imagine you won't have any problem with safety. There is no pickpocket, there is no violence. Maybe comfort also might play a role. You know, people might be happy to pay a little bit more than a bus or a metro to be sure they can sit across their entire journey. What is the essence of the value proposition around that idea? The second block, the second question, is what is the target market? Who are the customers actually interested by this new type of urban transportation? Where will they come from? More from taxi users, more from public transportation users? And along with that, who are the typical use cases for such a business to work? In the pitch, we're given a number of hypotheses. The founder mentioned night transportation, but also paramedical, home office commutation, going to the station or going back from the station, and school services also. So let's quickly discuss these cases. With also one side comment in mind, with the idea of shared taxi buses, you also have the idea of reaching a critical mass. Such a service can only work provided you find enough customers in real time so you can they can share one single taxi. So let's analyze these use cases. The first one, school services. If you think about it, it might raise some issue because parents might be extremely paranoid about the safety of their kids going on an unknown bus with an unknown driver. So that might raise some hurdle. Paramedical, if you think about it, people use today taxis and it's usually refunded. It's usually funded back by the health system. So it's not so much the problem of the customer to use a shared taxi. Maybe that would appeal to the health system, but then the problem you will have that you will have to enter in a very long negotiation, which is not good for a startup. Home office commutation, if you think about it, people can organize themselves probably very simply through a simple website, and there are existing services that do address these possibilities. So that leaves night transportation. And if you think about it, night transportation might come out as a very interesting best use case for first testing the business. First, beyond a certain hour, actually there is no public transportation. So the market is less crowded for capturing early users and see how they behave, how you can catch them and educate them about this new way of transportation in an urban environment. Second, if we get back to the idea of that critical mass, in Paris you can easily find a small number of hot places where you can find a high potential of demand from the same starting point, the same hot places that just want to go back home. So it might simplify the early test because you can find a critical mass of people, of potential users in a small number of places. So my recommendation for Optiways would be to first test their business idea to public transportation, to night transportation, services. The two other blocks on the right are pretty simple. Distribution channel, well, basically it's an app, so it's pretty much a no-brainer. They have to develop an app and get people to download it. And customer loyalty probably comes out as a longer-term perspective. What does it take to get your customers, make them more loyal, or increase the repeat rate of usage of your service? But that might not be an essential question you will have to address during the early days, the testing phase of your business. Which brings us to the fifth block on the right, the revenue model. So again, the core question in the revenue model is, in terms of pricing, what is the meaning of that intermediary point between public transportation and taxi? How much cheaper than taxi? How much more expensive than public transportation? And along with that, what is the right pricing model? Can it be a flat fee, like people are used to paying as for public transportation? Or can it be a variable model per kilometer, per time, as people are used to paying when they go for a taxi? What is the right model for such a new type of urban service?